Year festival. And as you can see, many shopping centers across Bangkok have been decorated with Christmas-themed lights. And what you're seeing right here is just one of them. But speaking of that, in light of the COVID-19 situation in Thailand that seems to be improving, it looks like the overall spending for this festive season will likely to increase compared to last year.
According to Kasikor Research Center, the overall spending in Bangkok during the festive holidays, particularly the New Year's, is predicted to be 30 billion baht, an increase of 7% compared to last year if the COVID-19 situation does not deteriorate. Most spendings are predicted to be on festive celebrations, including spending on food and drinks, which is expected to be up to 10 billion baht, followed by shopping, domestic traveling, other recreational activities, and making merit. And according to the research, people in Bangkok are more likely to spend more due to the easing of COVID-19 restrictions, as well as incentives to encourage spending. However, many people are still careful with their spending as they are unsure about the economic recovery and the current COVID-19 situation, especially with the emergence of the Omicron variant. The easing of restrictions also has an effect on people's decisions to go dining at restaurants for their festive celebrations, with hygiene measures at restaurants and fully vaccinated staff being the main factors.
And to celebrate this festive season, our reporter Gitipat Chunsuktid will be taking you around Bangkok to explore the beautiful Christmas lights. But where would be the best location? Let's check it out.
This is the most festive and exciting time of the year. Many places in Bangkok are decorated with myriad dazzling Christmas and New Year decorations, even though the city is still under the shadow of COVID-19. Today, Walk-A-Tif will bring you to see the most popular places to check out in Bangkok during the festive month.
The pre-COVID-19 New Year celebration scene in Bangkok was always bustling with many people from all over the world in town, as Bangkok is one of the most popular places in the region for New Year celebrations. This year, even though there are fewer foreign visitors in town, people who live in the city still enjoy the festive season at many beautiful places, but under the disease control measures. Ratchaprasong intersection is one of the most popular places throughout the New Year celebration with an annual lighting event. The event this year is being held under the theme of Light Up Your Life, with a giant Christmas tree and many festive corners, including 8 attractive photo shoot zones where visitors can take photos and enjoy the magic of the festive season. Shopping malls at the Patumwan intersection are also celebrating the festive season under the theme of Magic from the Universe. The festive areas are full of colorful vibes, lighting decorations, and a stunning Christmas tree, evoking a feeling of winter. Collaborating with famous Thai illustrator Chakrit Anatakun, the festive Magic from the Universe features characters is designed to represent living creatures in the universe traveling across millions of light years past many planets and galaxies to Earth and offering the happiness of the universe to the people. The area has been transformed into Instagrammable spots, including Serotonin Galaxy, Oxytocin Galaxy, and Endorphin Galaxy. Each spot will give you the feeling of the galaxy's uniqueness. At Samyan intersection, there's another delightful Christmas tree decorated with LED signs touting positivity and fun activities. The playground is decorated with joyful installations. Every Friday to Sunday evening, one can enjoy the special activity, drone photography. The students who are the cameraman from Chulalongkorn University will offer the special service for visitors by offering drone photography to them with the dazzling decoration at its playground. If you like scenes by the river, The riverside area has been transformed into a festive light celebration to celebrate the annual Bangkok Illuminations 2021. One of the most remarkable features here are the Thai art embellished yet gorgeous Christmas trees, inspired by the temple spire of Wat Arun. This is the beautiful symbol of a Thai heritage site and international celebration. These are just some popular places to celebrate the festive season in Bangkok. Many beautiful places are still waiting for you to discover. But please keep wearing your face mask everywhere you go. Stay safe. Kitipat Sukhjit, reporting for Thai PBS World.
And that looks very exciting. But speaking of dazzling decorations, this location is also another location where many people like to take pictures. But if going after Christmas celebrations are not your thing, how about pineapple farming? As Stephanie Adair will be taking you to this local farm in Nong Khai province.
See, Chiang Mai County in Nong Khai, a province which sits right on the border of Thailand and the Lao PDR, has approximately 1,300 acres of pineapple orchards, a staple fruit in which many farmers in Nong Khai are now taking an interest. Panuwat Sangrat, the owner of Waranya Farm and the head of a smart young farmer group in Nong Khai, showed us the ropes and what it takes to stand out, because plainly, just planting and selling is not enough. But processing to add value is what farmers should be looking to do.
ของเราแปรรูปหลักๆเลยตอนนี้ก็จะเป็นสับปะรดทอดกรอบแล้วก็ทำน้ำพริกสับปะรดเราทำตั้งแต่แรกเลยเริ่มแรกเลยเนาะที่เราทำตั้งแต่กวนน้ำสับปะรดหยีแล้วก็สับปะรดอบแห้งแล้วมาสับปะรดกรอบแล้วก็มาน้ำพริกสับปะรดก็มีหลายตัวแต่ว่าที่หลักๆที่เราทำอยู่นะตอนนี้ก็คือจะเป็นสับปะรดทอดกรอบ
The product was intended for marketing to children, but it turned out to be more popular among those who were looking for a healthier option than potato chips.
คิดว่าน่าจะทำเหมือนเลไปทอดกรอบอะไรอย่างเงี้ยก็เลยเอาไปต่อยอดตรงนั้นดูเพราะว่าตลาดที่ใหญ่ที่สุดก็คือเด็กใช่ไหมครับพี่ก็เลยมองว่าอยากจะทำให้เด็กมันกินแต่พอจริงๆแล้วเด็กก็ไม่กินเป็นกลุ่มรักสุขภาพหรือกลุ่มไอ้นี่ไป
In Thailand, many people choose to leave their home province to find work in the cities, with hopes of earning more money and finding more options in life. Panuwat is one of many who instead chose to settle back home and start farming with the Young Smart Farmer program, a program which encourages and helps farmers grow the highest quality crops through education and sharing of tips.
มีเยอะขึ้นเพราะว่าเขาหนึ่งเนาะการทำเกษตรกรเนี่ยเนี่ยแหละคือมีเวลาเป็นของตนเองมีเป็นอาชีพที่อิสระมีเวลาให้ตัวเองมีเวลาไม่ผูกมัดไม่มีใครมาตีกรอบให้เราตีกรอบให้ตัวเองแล้วเรามีเวลาอยู่กับครอบครัวอยากจะทำอะไรเราก็ได้ทำแล้วก็อีกอย่างหนึ่งก็คือเราอยู่กับสิ่งแวดล้อมอย่างเงี้ยเราสบายใจดีเราไม่ได้อยู่กับมลพิษแล้วเรามาทำการเกษตรเนี่ยเรามีการลดต้นทุนเราไม่ได้ใช้สารเคมีคือเราใช้อยู่แต่เราทำแบบควบคู่กันคือจากที่เราทำแต่อินทรีย์เลยมันก็ไม่ได้เพราะเรายังมีรายได้ที่จะต้องใช้จ่าย
And with the China-Laos high-speed railway right next to the border, this might mean that Thai farmers will get the chance to expand their markets and bring yet another delightful product to the region, in addition to Thailand's famous durians, which are popular in mainland China. Stephanie Adair for Thai PBS World.
And now let's look at the other stories in our weekly roundup.
The issuance of the Thailand passes has been suspended until January 4th. About 90,000 people who have applied for or have been granted the Thailand pass but have yet to enter the country can still enter the kingdom through the Test and Go scheme for fully vaccinated arrivals from 63 low-risk countries and territories until January 10th, with only minimal quarantine of about 1 day. The sandbox program in 17 provinces except Phuket has also been suspended for 2 weeks. Thailand will import 10 million doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech Comirnaty vaccine after the Thai Food and Drug Administration approved its use in 5 to 11-year-olds on Monday. The vaccination campaign is not mandatory, but based on the willingness of the children and the parents. The vaccine will be administered as an intramuscular injection, which will reduce the amount of vaccine needed per dose to 1/3 of the amount used for children aged 12 and over. The cabinet has endorsed the finance ministry's plan to roll out more economic stimulus measures next year, including the 4th phase of the 50/50 co-payment scheme from March until the end of April, and another round of the More You Shop, the More You Get, or Shop Di Mi Kun scheme. Consumers who purchase goods or services between January 1st and February 15th will be eligible for a tax deduction equivalent to the amount spent, up to a maximum of 30,000 baht. The scheme is expected to inject 42 billion baht into circulation.
And now it's time for our special documentary series, Reviving Thailand, How to Survive Post-COVID. In this episode, we'll be focusing on startups as to how they managed to thrive throughout the pandemic.
ครับ4 ปีที่แล้วครับเราก็ทำเรื่องการท่องเที่ยวครับเราก็ย้ายจากต่างจังหวัดมาที่นี่นะครับแล้วก็มองเห็นศักยภาพของเมืองนั่นแหละว่ามันทัศนียภาพสวยงามแล้วก็ใกล้กับเมืองหลวงของเขาครับเราทำเป็นแพลตฟอร์มครับเป็นแอปพลิเคชันอะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับเรื่องการท่องเที่ยว
A tech by trade, Supsakun began to work as a programmer on Samui Island as soon as he graduated from university. Those couple of years familiarized him with the tourism business and how to deal with foreign travelers. That confidence led him to start his own business. Supsakun currently lives in Nong, Khai, his wife's hometown. He is full of ideas and has created quite the number of startups. His latest is a web-based application that will accommodate foreign travelers in Nong Khai. The Around app will provide all necessary information in English for traveling in and around Nong Khai. After several years of trying to keep it going, and not enough support from the government, the application is now disabled.
เราไปคุยกับทางจังหวัดว่ามีโปรเจกต์อย่างนี้ก็คุยกันเรียบร้อยแต่ถึงเวลาจริงๆมันถูกจำกัดด้วยข้อมูลทางเทคนิคอย่างเช่นตัวโปรดักต์ผมมีจอทัชสกรีนเวลาเราไปประมูลงานอย่างเงี้ยครับจอมันไม่ได้ตรงกับที่เราวางเอาไว้อะไรเงี้ยเรื่องสเปคเรื่องอะไรเงี้ยครับ
Hardware that did not match specifications was the reason he didn't get the funding from the government. His idea, though, was adopted by other tech companies in the province. Supsakun said that because the idea was not originally theirs, they didn't fully understand the platform, and so it didn't reach its potential. However, just before the first lockdown in February 2020, he opened a hostel aimed to accommodate foreign backpackers. It was part of his startup project. After a loan of about 5 million baht to build the business, the hostel had to close its doors because of the pandemic. He had to terminate all of his employees and also repay the bank. As for the hostel, he said he is just going to wait.
รู้สึกแทรปไหมแบบว่าไปไหนไม่ได้แล้วแบบเหมือนติดอยู่กับดักที่ตัวเองสร้างขึ้นหรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ย
ก็ไม่นะครับเราก็คิดว่าเราเป็นคนที่มีทัศนคติเชิงบวกผมก็ยังโอเคกับตรงนี้อยู่
Supsakun is now planning another startup project. He is partnering with tech guys from another province. The platform will still involve tourism, but this time specifically with transportation in mind. The new idea will work with public transport, a one-day, one-price e-ticket system. At the end, Supsakun thinks what the government could do is to actually have some guidelines of what kind of project they would support, what area of interest they focus on, and how much budget is available, so at least he would know where to focus his energy. When you think about tech startups, you may think about apps that help you do things remotely, which subsequently promotes a sedentary lifestyle. But not for Footbot, a startup that uses technology to enhance football players' performance with its robotic training system.
So we use data to improve football players' skills, their tactical thinking. So it's like it accelerates your progress. This system helps you to, in short period of time, make a lot of touches of the ball and repeat the action like many times, and it helps a lot.
Formed by a group of software engineers in Russia in 2015, and then expanded to the tourist town of Pattaya in April last year, which at the time was in the middle of the first wave of the pandemic, CEO and co-founder Vlad Kuznetsov told us why he picked Thailand.
We already have like 6 installations in Russia, and we decided to go globally. Yeah, and our next like strategic decision is Southeast Asia market, because we see big opportunities here. People love football here. To make one installation, for example, in Thailand, we are getting access to like Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Taiwan also.
The pandemic definitely impacted the business with fewer clients than initially expected, but Mr. Kuznetsov said he has been adjusting to the situation and that it's actually a perfect time, even though group activities are still cautioned.
The key moment here is to find good location and low rent. And as for me, I just found the partner. He's the landlord, and we work with him, like we share profit. So even if we don't have any customers, we don't have much cost because we don't pay rent. Our system is kind of like COVID friendly, yeah, because it's robotic training system, and you don't need to have teammates, or you even can play without coach. You play with machines, so it's safety, and this is the reason why sometimes some of my customers, they didn't visit academies, but they visited my place for training.
Mr. Kuznetsov remains hopeful, but also realistic. The reopening of Thailand will gradually bring people back and plans to expand to Bangkok.
I think slowly, step by step, in the next few years, like everything will be all right. We just try to do our best. Like we work with some customers who still here, like visit some tournaments, work with academies, with parents, with kids, to place to be international. So we can invite people here, we can make some events here, some seminars here, so it's best place for this, I think. But also we're planning to, second step, to install the system in Bangkok also. The key is, I think, to be flexible, to listen the market, to find some new ways of income, and to make good like business development, to understand like what the key problems now and to find solutions for them.
Bill Barnett, who is originally from the United States, moved from Hong Kong for a job here as the deputy managing director at a Phuket resort. He then started his own business. At first, he opened a consulting firm, but then created the Saijai platform, which provides people with healthcare professionals and other home services. But unlike those who were hit hard by the effects of the COVID pandemic, he saw an opportunity the global pandemic has brought about.
We founded the company last year during the pandemic, so we started. It was a reaction to the pandemic. We saw a good opportunity. Thailand has an amazing amount of hospitality workers who are quite talented, but they were displaced in the jobs markets. We were able to think about an offering with an online healthcare marketplace or home care marketplace where we could take these workers and put them back to work as well. And so we've got over about 1,200 caregivers online on our system already, who are people who are capable of giving in key areas such as elderly care, child care, online tutoring as well, or home tutoring as well. So people are busy with their everyday lives and saying, how can we get this expertise back into our homes as well? But I think that's going to be a lot more profound going forward.
The pandemic has, of course, caused some concern about the home services Saijai is offering, but that doesn't stop the startup from moving forward and dreaming big.
There was certainly questions raised about that. These things aren't going to go away, and we have to learn to live with COVID-19. We're going to be building an app as well, and the reaction's been quite good in all the home caregiving categories, so I think that's very positive.
Based on the southern island of Phuket, Mr. Barnett said social media has been the main source in recruiting people.
We're going back through Facebook Messenger, we're going through line groups as well, even all the way up to very skilled categories like nurses for elderly care. And our longer-term vision is to start Saijai Academy, which will allow workers to upskill.
Hopeful and optimistic about the digitalization of services, but with a human touch, Mr. Barnett believes this trend is the way forward.
It's a digital facing, it is the future. This really helps Thailand because it establishes a more world-class economy towards that providing. And again, it gets people back to work, but it gets them back to work in a smart way. One thing about COVID-19, we've understood that health is number one. So yes, everybody is concerned about it, but we also have to understand that people have to eat. And you have to go and continue, your lives have to move forward. We can't just stop the world. We stopped the world for 18 months. It's time to get out and about.
Also in Phuket, the first province in Thailand that reopened to overseas visitors without a quarantine, Thanakorn Somlanka told us how the bad economy resulting from the lack of tourists drove him from his business.
เดี๋ยวผมจะพาทัวร์1 วันจะได้รับรู้ความลำบากจริงๆของพี่น้องคนภูเก็ตนะครับเพราะว่าสิ่งที่ผมเจอทุกวันสิ่งที่ผมเจอด้วยตัวเองนี่คือความเป็นจริง
Thanakorn made an offer with frustration. He used to sell nam for a living, which is fermented pork sausage. The lockdown severely affected his shops, and now he finds extra income by driving for WeServe, a food delivery startup which originated in Phuket. WeServe was founded 4 years ago and is now expanded to cover 15 provinces. The lockdown actually provides a good opportunity for the platform to grow. Only Phuket is in trouble due to low foreign visitors. But for the overall picture, the company has been doing very well, with 2020 total revenue of 54 million baht and aims to hit the 100 million baht milestone by the end of this year.
เนื่องจากเราเป็นธุรกิจสตาร์ทอัพที่เกี่ยวข้องกับเรื่องการกินการบริโภคการขนส่งการใช้จ่ายซึ่งลูกค้าต้องใช้อยู่ทุกวันอยู่แล้วเราก็ยังคงอยู่ได้ในภูเก็ตค่ะแล้วก็มีการเติบโตอย่างต่อเนื่องค่ะข้อดีของธุรกิจของเราคือเป็นธุรกิจที่ตอบโจทย์ในช่วงเวลานี้ค่ะโควิดช่วย engage ให้ลูกค้าเข้าใจเทคโนโลยีมากขึ้นมีการสั่งซื้อมากขึ้นทำให้ในจังหวัดอื่นๆที่เรามีเนี่ยยังคงเติบโตค่ะ
But not all startups have that kind of opportunity. Natjaya said getting help from the government has been very difficult for startups in small towns. Help usually goes to the businesses in Bangkok first, while those in other parts of the country are struggling to survive. She feels that Thailand has not provided enough support or given the startup enough priority when it comes to investment, compared to other countries in ASEAN.
แอมอยากให้ส่วนกลางเนี่ยมีการพิจารณาหรือมองเห็นสตาร์ทอัพที่อยู่ในท้องถิ่นไม่เฉพาะจังหวัดภูเก็ตเพียงที่เดียวนะคะยังมีแบบเชียงใหม่โคราชขอนแก่นหรือแม้กระทั่งกระบี่อย่างเงี้ยค่ะประเทศไทยเราเนี่ยยังไม่ได้ความสำคัญกับเรื่องของการใส่เม็ดเงินลงมาในธุรกิจเหล่านี้มากสักเท่าไหร่ค่ะถ้าเทียบกับอย่างเช่นอินโดนีเซียสิงคโปร์หรือเวียดนามเนี่ยมีการเติบโตเรื่องนี้มากกว่าค่ะก็อยากจะให้ภาครัฐมองเห็นแล้วก็อยากให้มีการจัดตั้งกองทุนให้มากขึ้นแล้วก็มีการมองเห็นเรียกว่าต้องใส่ใจมองเห็นธุรกิจที่อยู่ในต่างจังหวัดมากขึ้นค่ะว่าจริงๆแล้วเขามีโอกาสที่จะเติบโตและขยายแบบป่าล้อมเมืองได้ดีเท่ากับธุรกิจที่อยู่ในกรุงเทพเลยค่ะ
Stories of struggling businesses are not unique to any field or industry. The difference so far has been how much help each gets from the government and how deep the entrepreneurs' pockets are to keep their business going. In the capital, another online service, Hungry Hub, has found a way to cope during lockdown periods that saw restaurants ordered shut, and it's hoping the gradual return to normalcy will help drive its business forward. Founded about 7 years ago, the startup started off as an online booking system for restaurants before transitioning into a special deal platform 3 years later.
We realized that there's no real need in Thailand for a reservation system because most of the restaurants are never fully booked. It's only very few, maybe a handful of restaurants that if you don't call and book, you don't get a table. So we changed our business model.
With about 700 restaurants on its platform in Bangkok, Phuket, Pattaya, and Hua Hin, and a planned expansion to Samui, the startup grew 3 to 5 times since its transformation, but then the COVID pandemic hit Thailand and the globe.
So before COVID, we were growing 250% year on year, pretty much every year. And then obviously with COVID, we still grew, Despite restaurants being closed for many months last year and this year, we're still growing year on year, maybe about 50-60%.
Like other businesses, Hungry Hub has adapted to the pandemic by launching new services, including deliveries and staycations. And it got a head start preparing for the lockdown.
Actually, I was in China just before COVID started, like a month before COVID started. So I got a lot of learnings and know-how from the people. As soon as the government declared lockdown, what we did was we launched delivery within 3 days after the first lockdown. And the way we differentiate is that because there's a lot of big players in the delivery space already out there, we focused on set menus delivery. And recently we've got into the corporate delivery sector where we're doing delivery for corporates to their employees that are at home. So events like, for example, town hall events, New Year celebration, farewell dinner, all these kind of things are now becoming virtual. What that means is they are doing online Zoom calls, and we're adding a food element in there. And another thing that we added was staycations, where we saw obviously our hotel partners that also do restaurants with us had rooms now suddenly becoming empty. So that has been picking up quite well and is now contributing about 20% of our revenue.
But the new additions employed as a coping mechanism are not to replace the main services.
It doesn't work when you do delivery for rooftop bars, right? It doesn't work when you're doing a riverside restaurant where they mark up the price, but when you serve food at home, they don't have that ambience, right? So you can't exactly change every restaurant into delivery. So we've recovered about 40%, 50% of our revenue loss. So the good thing is that when whatever drops, as soon as it unlocks, it bounces back. They've been missing their friends, they want to try new food. So these kind of factors have made us recover faster, that there is still a lot of opportunity in front of us.
With the pandemic beginning to ease up, the company is very confident things will not get back to normal, but even get better, with an expansion in the pipeline.
Our plan was to expand in around March or April of last year, and that's when COVID came in. So it's been in the pipeline, it's just been delayed. And as soon as borders fully reopen, no quarantine, people are confident, we'll be the first company out of it.
And that wraps up tonight's edition of This Week with Thai PBS World. Join us every Friday at 10:15 p.m. only on Thai PBS. And don't forget to follow us on social media as well as our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates as well as analyses. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. สวัสดีค่ะ